All right, guys, thanks for joining us on Shootin The Breeze this week. Today we've got Brent Parker from Sydney, he's a motor trimmer, and Levi Gates from Boise, Idaho in the USA. Welcome, guys.
G'day, Greg. G'day, Levi.
Hey, guys. Good to be on this.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
A little early for you boys.
Yeah, yeah.
Very early.
Well, yeah, it's early and cold, I must admit.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So we normally just go across the top of the screen, and Brent's right sitting there next to me. So, Brent, do you want to tell us a little bit about you, how you got into this, and what you do now for a living?
Yeah, so I started Brent Parker motor trimming I've been doing it since I was 16. I'm now 42. Had a few years in between where I drove a truck, but then and when I was in my partying days, so I quit it for a little bit.
Yep.
And then soon got back into it and gained a reputation for the quality of work that we do. And now I started off with a lot of European cars and sort of Mercedes-Benz and things like that, and classic cars.
Oh, yeah.
And I still do that. However, now heavily into the custom cars, doing stuff for downtown, exclusive customs, etc. And we're getting some of the big builds, which is really nice, and where we want to be.
Have you got a minute to show us the workshop?
I do. Yep. I'll turn this around if I can.
Don't trip over. We can always edit that out.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got my saw machines here. Got new saw machines only a couple of weeks ago. They're not all set up yet.
Oh, yeah.
Where we got here?
Oh, yeah.
It's got our little dirty workstations at the moment.
I see how you work it. Yeah, yeah.
Got a Maserati dash that Brett, the guy that works for me, is going to be doing today or finishing off. We've got it's a 280 square meter shop.
Nice.
And got an XM Falcon here that we're doing. I started this car about four years ago, and the guy was just in the process of, he actually repainted the car, so we haven't seen it for ages, but now it's come back, and we're doing a full boot fit out and stuff like that. And also here we've got a 1910 Talbot.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So doing a soft top on that. And
so you're doing the full resto and the full custom, both next to each other?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's right.
So
so down here we've just got a little sort of our metalworking sort of fabrication stations. Once again, a little bit messy at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah, that's about it at the moment in a UC Tirana there.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Even they're getting a bit hard to find now.
Yeah, I haven't done many Tiranas, to be honest with you. Even though I'm a bit of a Tirana fan, but you sort of get you start to get one type of work and you just continue to get that.
You do.
And that's basically what's happened.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. So while Brent's trying to find his seat, Levi, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, so I'm Levi Gates. So I'm the brand development manager and lead detailing educator for the Rag Company here in Boise, Idaho. And the Rag Company, if you haven't heard about it, we manufacture and distribute microfiber towels around the world. So we make over 150 different type of microfiber cloths. And people think a towel is a towel, and
obviously not.
It used to be like that, but in the advent of, you look at like the level of work, Brent, that you do on interiors, and then Greg with what you do with cars, the amount of work that goes into it can be easily damaged through improper cleaning. And so a lot of that is what I've been a detailer for 23 years. And it's something that I've grown, from a kid working at a car wash half a mile away down the road to myself now, where I work on fun stuff for myself, but I get to do a lot of things, and now I get to educate a lot more people take training classes, and then teach training classes. So I'm not saying my old age because I'm coming into my prime, and I know I'm amongst friends here. So I'm 40, but but it's the fact that like I focus more on the education part of it and learning. And one of the things I did for my 40th birthday this year was I took a leather repair and restoration course, and
Yeah, right.
I took that through Color Lock, and as a detailer, I used to just know how to clean a car and get it clean and get it done right. But I never learned the science of what leather is, or leather making, or how leather's made for
Yeah,
car
yeah.
seats, or for, I never got that deep in it. And I was pretty frustrated with myself in that I went 20 years just cleaning a surface and never really diving into that surface. And I put a lot of effort into paint for cars, but never onto the rest of the materials, And so my goal with what we do here at the Rag Company, and my co-part Anthony, and or my counterpart Anthony, who does a lot of the videos with me, and then Morgan, who she works with us as well, she's in the videos, is we're trying to increase that amount of knowledge for up and coming detailers, as well as seasoned veterans that have always been in the industry. And we're just trying to educate everybody. So even though we sell towels, we're trying to teach and educate through our YouTube channels that we have, our podcasts that we do weekly, our weekly Q&A, and just, through our normal social media posts.
Just on that, because it wasn't so long ago, I was actually in a pretty heavy discussion about this subject, and detailing's a black art. Like, everybody's almost self-taught, whereas a panel beater does a trade, a mechanic, but the detailing, there was no schooling for it. There was no,
correct.
This is why you use this product, or this is why we do this. These are the surfaces we're trying to get right. That's really interesting that you're doing that. Yeah.
That's how it was. That's how I was raised.
Yeah.
I was taught by my father on how to detail cars because he was detailing cars, and I took stuff from him, stuff from what I learned at a car wash, and then I had a guy on a truck who would make deliveries. He'd swing by the detail shop and he'd show us some products, and the only knowledge I got was when asking him questions based on, well, what's this polish do?
Yeah.
What's in it? And how do I use it? Because that was all there was. There wasn't a school to go to learn how to properly detail. And as detailers came out and started providing training, that happened. But then the internet was a big push of that.
Yeah. Look, I think that's really good that you guys are doing it. It's not just selling the product, but you're actually backing it up with, we can show you how to use this product and what it's best for, because every surface is different. And like you said, ago we had one or two rags. One did our whole interior and one did our whole exterior, and you might have had a third one for glass, but
I mean, that's something that we've wanted to get into as well, or at least I'd like to at least try is the whole, taking care of the leather. People ask me all the time for repairs, and we're just not trained to do the repairs.
No.
And like to do colouring and stuff like that. I probably wouldn't ever get enough time to be able to implement it into the business because we're so busy doing on the brand new stuff. But it's definitely something that I would like to learn, to have another skill set.
And Brent, on that too, like I know when we finish a car, everybody wants us to tell them how to detail or how to look after their paint. You would get it with the trim, the leather and vinyls and things like that, cloth. How do we look after it?
Yeah, and a lot of the time I point them in the direction of one of the leading car guys, like the product guys, to use their conditioners and stuff like that, because I literally say to them, I just put new stuff into cars. I don't actually know the proper care to look after it.
Yeah.
Levi, maybe we need to get you out to Australia and teach us.
Well, so I've got a buddy, Terry, in, he's right in, I got to pull him up and look, but he's in Australia, and he is the Color Lock distributor as well as the Swissvax distributor. Yeah. Greg, I'll get your information. You can share it with Brent. But he does trainings all over the country and all that stuff. But He's a real good detailer. And then we've got our distributors, Mark Perch of AU Car Care Co. There in Australia. And so, we've got a good portion of that. But what I love is that within that industry is being able to teach, because the thing that a lot of people don't seem to understand, and a lot of things that I'm sure you guys see it, you get done building a car, you give it to the customer, they take it to a car show, they park it, then they start wiping it down with a ratty towel, and they're spraying some kind of quick detailer on it. They drop that towel on the ground, pick it back up, give it a shake, put it back on the car. Now, you guys may have, Greg, you guys may have 20, 30, 40, 50, 100,000 in that paint job.
Yeah.
And they're taking a towel that's been sitting in the gravel and they're just wiping it down.
I just want to touch just on that subject. When we took X-Boss to Detroit, we spent a lot of money on cloths, right? There was a lot of money, and we boxed them all up and took them with us because we sort of carried everything with us. But when we had the cloths, I said to the guys, Chris, the owner, and the other guys that built the car, if you drop a cloth, throw it out. Do not shake it out and put it somewhere to be washed. Throw it out, because if it has one speck of dirt, or we can't afford it, just
there's your
throw
scratch.
it out.
And it's teaching people just that, like I said, we work on the substrates, we learn how to do it. And the same goes for high-end leather. You got guys that are just taking they'll take a simple green, a normal or any type of interior cleaner that they find, at the local parts store, throw that on, and they end up changing the pH of the leather and causing that leather to prematurely age faster, or they put oil on it. And what they don't realize is some of those leathers that you've just, done your trimmings on, they are actually painted and clear coated. So there's no need to put a cream conditioner on there with, some of the older leather creams have hydrocarbon solvents in them. So they're actually damaging that clear coat that's on the leather by using the hydrocarbon solvents in that leather cream. And so it's just teaching the detailers to use the right products, and note that, like, shiny leather, unless it's shiny clear on that leather, is not a good leather. Shouldn't be shiny, glossy, unless it's designed that way. When you're, making it together, you're putting it together and it's got that glossy sheen. So, if it's a factory, it needs to be as a matte finish.
So in all of this, do you teach people what cloths would do different paint surfaces or chrome surfaces, or so do you guys actually teach all of that as well?
Yeah. So all our videos talk about, the basics. So the basics of microfiber are very simple. Polyester and polyamide make up a microfiber towel, just any general microfiber towel that you can find. Then there's and that is a certain blend, usually 80-20, or in our case, we do a lot of 70-30. So 70% polyester, 30% polyamide. That provides a towel that's very absorbent and very soft.
Righto.
So if you're working with soft clear coat and you're wiping your polish and compound off, or even just wax, an 80-20 towel on soft clear has a tendency to mar the surface. It's not soft enough. So that's when we say, well, you got to bump up to a 70-30 blend, because that extra 10% of polyamide creates a much softer towel. Now, the towel could be like something as simple as, just a piece of suede.
Yep.
The 70-30 portion is what's going to make it much softer and easier. And then we change weaves. So we've got terry weaves, which are a standard. That's what everybody sees, the Kirkland signature towel, the normal terry weaves that you pick up at the store, the 10 packs, the 20 packs, whatever. That's a traditional weave, but we make ours so that we have a higher grade yarn. We do a higher grade yarn, and then we do a better blend. So 80-20 or 70-30, where some of these, if you go to here we have the Walmarts. If you go to Walmart and you pick up a pack of towels, they're not always an 80-20. They're like a 90-10 or a 95-5 or even 100% polyester. So they're not going to be absorbent.
They're cheap.
they're cheap, and they're made with a lower quality, like a cut of beef. They're made with a lower quality fiber.
Yeah.
So they're going to disintegrate faster in the wash. So providing a higher quality yarn and a better fiber content, so to speak, provides longer life on the towels.
And
so
that was actually something that you taught me when we were over there.
Mhm.
Washing your microfibers, because we just think chuck them in a washing machine, hot water, some soap, and bingo, they're clean. But I was actually wrong.
Yeah, so they melt at 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and I don't know what the centigrade is on that, but it's 140 degrees is very hot water. That melts the fibers because they're plastic. So, and microfiber is a bunch of, the way I've always described it is cotton is a fist, microfiber is a hand with fingers. So it's more dexterous. When you melt those fingers, you lose the dexterity of that towel. And the dexterity of that towel is what makes microfiber so different from cotton. So cold water wash, free and clear detergents, and then a cold dry, or a no heat dry, no fabric softeners, nothing. I mean, as stripped down as you possibly can to wash a microfiber towel is the way they like it. So, but doing those kind of things are what, one, prolongs the life. But going back to weaves, we make probably 8 or 9 different types of weaves of towels. We have waffles, we have plush, we have ultra plush, we have pluffles, as we call it, which is a plush and a waffle hybrid. Then we have our newest one, which is our old twist loops that we have. And then we have our gauntlet, which we debuted at SEMA, which is a twist with a plush kind of hybrid as well. But the goal is everything that we do with these towels, even though it seems crazy and mad sciencey, our job is to try and make it easier and more efficient and get a better job out of everything you buy from us.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we go with that. But yeah, the towel thing is just, a lot of it is just like, even though it's towels, we joke that, in detailing, they're the potatoes of detailing, polishes, compounds, machines are the sexy side of it.
Yeah.
That's the steak, and we're just the potatoes. But you know what? We're from Idaho, and we're known for our potatoes. So we better be known for our microfibers in that same sense. And so we joke about that. But we manufacture in China and South Korea. Everything gets shipped here to Boise, Idaho, and then from Boise, we ship to 50 countries around the world to all of our distributors.
Yeah, you've got a huge warehouse there.
So
yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize there was such a science behind it all. That's fantastic.
It gets crazy. We can go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Can I just ask? Go, Brent.
Yeah, no, look, I was only just speaking to Graham from downtown the other day, and obviously the HQ is going to be finished soon, and I'll be taking delivery to finish it off. And I actually said to him, when this car comes here, what do you want me to cover it up with? Do you want me to do anything with it? Because it's inevitable that dust will get on the car.
Yeah.
And I said to him, like, what do you want me to do? And he said, look, I said, well, I do know of this wide tape that you can get. It's a Tessa tape, and you can put it over the paintwork. But I still think guys are reluctant to put a big roll of tape on the top of a car. And so he just said, just blow it off every day. But I'm happy to hear another suggestion of what we could do to wipe that car down when we do take delivery of it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, a lot of that is blowing it off, keeps it dust free as much as possible. Second is waterless washes. So if you can find a waterless wash that is nearby that you can use, if not, I'll get you in touch with Mark, and he can come by your shop and get you some stuff. But
I think we might do that. Yeah.
Because we've got waterless washes that encapsulate and emulsify the dust particles on the surface. So what that does is when you spray those products on, and this is not us, this is all these other brands that we carry, a waterless wash is designed to encapsulate and emulsify the dirt. So encapsulation, it grabs that dust particle and it coats it in a slippery lubricant, basically. While inside that bubble, emulsification happens, in which those chemicals start to break down the dust into a finer and finer and finer product while keeping it encased in that. So the goal is that then you take one of your plush towels and you go to wipe that surface. And as you're wiping, you're pulling that dirt and dust, but it's encapsulated in that little bit of a bubble, basically, and thereby providing a lot of lubrication to the surface, as well as that, like I said, encapsulation and emulsification. So it pulls it, and then you switch towels. You get a different towel, or you switch your sides, and you roll the towel. So you're kind of like when you're spraying, you're pulling your gun up.
Just
so you don't have that hard line, you pull that towel up.
To ask a question, Levi, because Brent is in the trim game, and we have cars here that we work on, same as Brent, but what do you do about the trim if it gets dust on it?
Same kind of thing. So we sell a product that we like called ONR, Optimum No Rinse. It's the same. It's basically a polymer lubricant. And what that does, it dilutes 256 to 1. And it's pH balanced. It's really amazing. But it's half an ounce per gallon of water.
That's
good
ratio.
Very small amount. But what we did is we could take it, you put it in a bucket, a gallon of water, and then you just take your towel in there, wring it out.
Oh yeah.
You have a damp cloth, and you just can wipe the surfaces down,
right?
And then take another towel and kind of dry to remove any excess moisture. But this gives you, one, a cleaning agent, but two, something that continues to emulsify and encapsulate that, but also provide lubrication. So you're not damaging any of that plastics. It also it's just a great product because you can clean glass with it, you can clean paintwork with it, and you can clean interior panels with it. And it's safe. It's pH neutral, which is a big thing because a lot of cleaners are either too high up on the pH scale or too low. And those cause issues in all types of forms because it can burn, it can etch, it can stain, it can do a lot of different things. And so having something very simple, light, easy, and fairly neutral just makes your life a lot easier.
That's interesting. Now, I just want to go back to Brent because he showed us the workshop.
Yeah, I just cut out a minute ago. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I didn't notice. Anyway, just as a question, Brent, because you showed us a workshop, but so how did you get into this? How did you start as a trimmer?
Okay, so my dad restored Rovers and Mercedes Benzes, and at the time he was getting a local guy to do his trim work, and I was still at school, and the guy asked him, does he know anyone that could sweep the floors in the afternoon? And
he volunteered you?
He volunteered me, and I started there a couple of days, and then he offered me a job, and that was just in standard upholstery. I mean, we did a little bit of motor trimming, car interiors, but that's where it started, and I stayed with him for probably 3 years, and then I went to another place, and then I was.
What's the difference between upholstery?
Oh, well, upholstery is just, you're doing just lounges and kitchen chairs and all that sort of thing, and that didn't really interest me. I really wanted to do the motor trimming side of things. I went to TAFE and did the upholstery course.
Yeah.
But then I'm pretty much motor trimming or auto upholstery is I'm self-taught. What I did was when all those European interiors came in, I would pull them apart. I would see how they're constructed, and I just got how things work and the science behind things. Yeah. And I've always been good with the hands and making things. So that's where it's gone to, and just kept on plodding away. And I send myself a bit insane with the amount of samples and stuff that I do at work and trying new things. And sometimes you get
better. That's
100%.
And Levi would attest to this. I couldn't imagine how many times you guys have tested a product and it's failed and gone, all right, well, we'll just keep trying. Yeah.
I mean, even the leathers that we use, there's just the different characteristics of how they stretch and how they'll sew and things like that.
So how do
You know,
you know that? How, like when you're about to do a seat and you get some leather, how do you know what it's going to do for you? Or you don't until you start working on it?
no, you can just generally feel the leather in your hands, and you feel the stretch. And
Oh, yeah.
you know, there's different parts of the hide which we'll use on different sections of a car, or the interior, especially if we've got to get a lot of shape out of something which has got a lot of contours or concaves. You know, I'll go onto the hide and feel the stretchiest part to it, so that I know that I can use that bit of leather on that part of the job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that would be the hard part of knowing what you can get away with different leathers and vinyls and cloths and.
Yeah, and that's partly why I sort of got my own line of leathers, because I use a lot of different types of leathers, and I know which ones I like, and so I got my own line of that, which I do use in pretty much most of my cars. So I know its characteristics all the time. It's like look, yeah, I know exactly what it'll do, how it'll stretch, and especially how it sews, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah. I've actually.
And there's actually
tell us about your leather.
yeah, I know the different ranges, and like I'll think of if I'm going to do that job, I won't use that type of leather on that job because I know it's too stiff.
Yeah.
You know, whereas you got show. If some guys just like on show cars, there's you can use a really stretchy leather because you can mold it to everything, but you wouldn't want to use that on an everyday basis because it wouldn't wear well because it's too stretchy.
Brittle.
But it's great for a show car interior that doesn't get used on an everyday basis.
So on the car that you've got there that you're doing a restoration on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you want an old school looking leather on those? Do you try and find something that probably would have been back in the 20s or 30s?
It's all well. The 20s and 30s there would have been a completely natural leathers.
Yeah, that's right.
And they do have an aged look to them. But yeah, definitely the ones today are a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
But especially on the Talbots and stuff like that, you can buy hides which have a more of an old school look, and especially in like the old a lot of the cars came out in Connolly leather. And and the Connolly leather still does to this day look aged, aged with the hides that you get.
Because this is the thing with leathers and what you do, Levi. Like you kind of, if you're going to do a full concourse 1920s car, you kind of want to have that leather, but it would be harder to sew or different to sew and make than a full custom car like the XP that you're doing, because that would probably be a smooth, soft leather.
Yeah.
And then cleaning it.
And there's so many. Well, I was to say there's so many different types of hides, and there's so many different tanning versions too, where there's vegetable tanned and chrome tanned and all kinds of different leathers that act and react differently, and then your aniline and semi-aniline, and then you've got your coated, and I mean it gets. I can imagine you've got quite a encyclopedia, Brett.
You probably know more about the science than I do, to be honest with you. But we're careful with how we treat our hides, or with whatever leather we get. We do test pieces on them. We'll test a pen, like our leather marking pens on a certain section, and wipe them off and stuff like that.
All right.
And even when I'm cutting out all my stuff, some trimmers just mark right on the face of the leather. We never mark on the face of the leather because it's as simple as this. If you don't put anything on it, then you don't have to wipe anything off.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
So we're very
awesome.
careful about
That's
it. Very
awesome.
careful.
When we've built the show cars and we've had trims or paint or something like that, the easiest thing to do is just don't put stuff on it, because if you don't put it on it, you don't have to take it off it. Like it's
exactly
pretty
right.
easy math, isn't it?
you limit the risk. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Levi, you were saying before we got going here that you guys are doing a new studio. So what's the studio?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start walking you through from my office here. We'll go take a peek and see.
Yeah.
But
You can
yeah,
walk and talk.
I can. Yeah. So basically, I'm going to turn off my virtual background so you can see me here. So here I am in my lovely office. So basically, what we've been doing is,
Levi, I do have to just interrupt there. I've been there, and it is actually a lovely office. It is pretty cool place to hang out.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, this used to be, when you were here, Greg, last, like this was where we had, our podcast studio. And then all of our production team was here doing their videos down this. But we took over more complexes as we've been growing. So this building was 15,000 square feet. We had a building and a studio, a white room studio across the way that was 15,000 square feet. And then we just took 2 Quonset huts out front that are 7,000 each, one for storage and then one for our new production studio. And then we took over another building on the corner, all on this park. That's another 10,000. So we're in almost 60,000 square feet.
Wow.
Wow.
But as you see, beautiful
crazy.
day here in Boise. But
I'll swap you.
yeah, I'm gonna flip you. I'm gonna flip us around here so you guys can see what I'm walking towards. So, all right, let me flipped around here. There we go. All right,
yeah.
so these are the little huts that we have, and this is our main building.
Yep.
And we started taking some of these extra buildings on our complex. So this building we've turned into just a kind of a warehouse, couple shipping containers.
Now,
and then this is going to be our new production studio. Go ahead.
So just over the ways a little bit, you've got a photography studio.
Yeah, so all the way down there, we have one that is a white wall that Bart Sepik is a photographer, and we use him for all that. But we had him build one for us in here. So we're still moving in. So I'm going to be staying in my building, but the boys and Morgan are all over here. So as you can see, we built a little cube farm. In here is our new podcast studio.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So
hey, there
we
they
got
go.
me and my co-hosts there.
Yep.
And then we've got us in our vehicles.
Puts my place to shame.
Yeah, so this is our new podcast studio, getting it all set up. But this is, we have a pretty good subscribership. We get about 50,000 downloads a month on our podcast. So here's our control room. Gabe in there, setting everything up. So this is kind of where my team is situated on these 3 seats. But we've got, TVs and everything that we're doing, and they're filming a video right now. But this is our new production studio. So when we talk about a product, so we're like, hey guys, Levi with the Rag Company want to talk about this new Eagle Edgeless 500. That's what that's for. So we can do quick once-overs. So here's the studio, and as you can see there, the team is filming and working on a car right now. That's a show called Wash Wednesday that we do on our YouTube channel. But that's the new space. So we've given ourselves a wash bay back there. Right here is our old studio we've repurposed.
Yep.
And then we built this white room just like our photo studio. So that way we could do some of this stuff for ourselves without taking up our photo studio. And then back there, we have a scissor lift in the ground. We've got Swiss Trax flooring, a very large fan hanging from the ceiling. So all in all, it's going to be a pretty cool setup. So that's what. So so that's that section of it. And then see if I can flip around and show you a little more. So they're trying to get the podcast set up as well. That's you can hear. I don't know if you can hear a bit of an echo. But yeah, and then in between these shipping containers, we're building a wash bay, an exterior wash bay. So we'll have a spot out there. But the whole goal is basically have a full-fledged detail shop that doesn't detail any cars. and we can just make videos about it. And then this, but this other building is, you know, a lot of Amazon fulfillment and stuff for our team. Because we do sell a lot of products on Amazon. And then, like I said, that's storage. And then across the way, Greg, is the photography studio that you've been in. We might be able to walk down that way. It's a bit of a walk, but I'll flip around so you can see my face.
I have to say, Brent, that my little workshop and your little workshop have just made them look a little bit smaller, I think.
Oh, there's not enough time in the day, is it, to get things right? Oh, that's just crazy.
Isn't it?
It is wild, and we never thought this. You got to remember, the company started out of a garage 20 years ago. Little old lady and her husband started this, selling towels on the internet. And about 8 years ago, Jeff and Carolyn Hennon bought it and moved it into their garage. And they hired their son, said, Dane, make a website and let's get this going. And so Dane did all that. And then he said, hey, I want to make a video because I'm tired of answering emails. His dad said, go for it. And so he made a video. It did really well. And Jeff goes, we need to make more videos. We should use someone's shop. So they called me because I had a detail shop.
Yeah.
And we did the first series of videos out of my shop. And then I just started doing customer service for the rag company because I was more of like a product expert and they didn't really have anybody else. And so that's how I kind of got hired on. And I ended up selling my shop, and my boys, all my employees set up a new detail shop here in Boise, and they're doing phenomenal. But this I came over here when they moved into this new building. And then we've just grown exponentially in the last 5 years. So
well, yeah,
it's been pretty insane.
I think we were there 2 years ago, and it's grown massive since then.
I think we had just finished this room. So this is our white room studio. So Bart Sepik is a photographer, does a lot of Kenny's cars.
Yep.
See if he's doing something in here. Oh, looks like he's got the light bar down.
There you go.
Working on it.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
So
wouldn't it be nice to have a clean spot like that where you can just take some photos or hang some posters?
Yeah, that's the biggest problem for us, as well for me, is I'm the one-man band, and on the secretary, I'm the boss, right? And having a young family and building a house and stuff like that, I just don't get the time to do everything I want to do and to set it up the way that I want.
It's hard, isn't it?
Hopefully down the track that I'll be able to do a bit more.
Yeah, well, this is, like I said, this is all Bart's stuff. This is what he shoots.
Oh, yeah.
So those, actually all top of those are all Kenny's builds from Kenny's Hot Rods, or Kenny's Rod Shop. So there's the V10 Hudson up there. And then I don't know if he's got any, he's got this, they just finished this Rat Rod. But yeah, so this is all stuff Bart's had in the studio. This is Jeff, the owner of the rag company. That's his Cobra. So
beautiful.
But yeah, so like I said, Bart has this space. So it worked out really well because we had this extra, I think it's about 5,000 square feet. And we reached out to a local car photographer here in Boise who we met at a car show, and he said, well, here's what I want to do. And Jeff he's like, I just don't have a spot to do that in. And so Jeff, offered him this space and said, well, why don't you come, I've got a space. If you do it, I'll pay for it, but you got to put in the sweat equity. And kudos to Bart. He's 39 years old, wife, 2 kids, and a full-time job. And he spent every waking hour he had here in his studio, just putting all this together, building these walls, building that light rig, everything. I'm going to show you. So here's some of his stuff. So he uses the space also for, dancers and dance photography. And then, gets his normal car photography stuff. And what it worked out well was he goes around the car scene here in Boise and hits the car shows and gets people to basically bring their cars down, and he gives them really good deals on stuff. But here's my Suburban.
Yeah, there it
We
is.
made these dark silhouettes of stuff as well. So it's kind of unique, but for us, it became an opportunity for the business. Flip you around again. So that way we could go, we're not using this space. Here's a guy who's extremely talented who could build us something that we want.
Yeah.
We could use it when he's not using it. And this kind of creates a win-win. You know, there's not many reasons for a towel company to have a fully fledged photography studio, but it works out really well.
Yeah,
it works out amazingly well. Yeah. So it's those kind of things that really help the industry, because it allows people like Bart walking by there being able to you know, he has, you know, an outlet and ability to grow his craft and grow his trade and all that kind of stuff. But also it helps us because he gets all the cars over here. We can throw some product on those cars, take some photos for our website, for our social media, for all that kind of stuff, for our business listings. And we get customers, he gets customers, the customers that he meets always come back, and then they check in on him and hey, I got a new car, I want to do this one, and want to get this done. And so and he gets other work because maybe he photoed their cars, then he's doing graduation, weddings, you know, all the other photography stuff. So plus he's a really good handyman, so we have him here helping set up stuff because he's really good at that. So but no, it's been really good, and we've, you know, business has stayed steady through this time, which has been really nice, and we've been able to hire a lot more employees. So
it seems like most guys in the auto trade of the businesses have kept going through the whole COVID thing. I know we've got busier. It's been crazy.
So you have picked up, Brent?
Yeah, there's been no change whatsoever.
Really? Yeah, same as us.
In fact, the small stuff has just got busy and busy. But we can't always take the small stuff on because of all the big builds we've got. But yeah, we've been very fortunate that.
So what do you mean by small stuff?
Just small repairs, you know, roof linings and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you do all that as well? Like if someone...
We do all that as well. However, we do concentrate on the big jobs. Otherwise, if we don't continue to do that, then our schedule gets behind and we lose track.
Yeah. Because that's the hard part.
We do the small stuff as well. I do get a guy in here occasionally to help me do that as well, just to sort of keep things ticking over. But generally, and we don't have a shop. This workshop's on a property, so we don't get a lot of passing traffic, which is it sort of suits me just fine. I don't get bothered too often.
It's kind of a bit better, isn't it? Yeah. Because you don't need to be annoyed all day long if you got big jobs. Like it just,
Yeah, look, it's with everything going on. I get sidetracked a lot already, and without all the people dropping in, it does make it a little bit easier.
Yeah. Look, I've got to probably finish up soon because we're running out of Zoom time.
Sure.
So I might say see you to you guys, and thanks a lot for being on Shootin The Breeze this week. It's been really, really interesting. I actually like learning a lot of this stuff. I don't know if I'll retain most of it, but that's why I got to ring you guys.
We could speak for hours more.
I think we could do this.
So thanks, guys, for being a part of it this week, and we'll catch up with you guys, Greg, in the near future.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it.
And nice to meet you, Levi.
You too, Brent. Yeah.
And I'll look up your products more, mate.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Too easy. All right. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.